Okay, it's day 42, and I have been in the process of going through a year ago's videos, and I was surprised over and over again of how early I had said Andrew McCabe was running a spy ring for Hillary Clinton, mainly created out of a set of reprisals against people who voted against Bill Clinton's impeachment or voted for Bill Clinton's impeachment. But that has grown over the last 20 years into a larger and larger group of reprisals until recently now we're seeing all these smears coming out against all these different congressmen and senators and news personalities and so forth for asking tough debate questions. So again, this is what I mean where the baby octopus doesn't get any better, the cancer doesn't get any better by waiting another 20 years. It just gets worse. And what I didn't know at that time was that the Awans were recruited. They were brought into the United States through this Enter America program. The wink is Enter America. It was a combined move with the CIA through this Presidential Decision Directive 62, basically bringing in these teams like you would a high school class, like you would recruit basketball players or softball players or soccer players or cricket players. They're brought in about 1998. Now, the reason why I think they're brought in is for this thing called the National Nuclear Security Administration. The NNSA is created in 1999 to manage nuclear proliferation. It also manages Navy fuel, the Navy Nuclear Propulsion Program, NNPP. Not the PP dossier. This is the NNPP, the Navy Nuclear Propulsion. Now, does that sound familiar? Navy propulsion, Navy nuclear movement of nuclear materials, and now also there's going to be this company that Transport Logistics, the company that does that movement of nuclear materials for this 123 agreement, is also going to have a sports company. Now, does STX mean Sports Transportation Logistics? Sometimes an X is used in the business for shorthand for logistics. So does STX equal Sports Transportation Logistics? Well, it turns out that Transport Logistics does start a sports company, and it's started by this guy called For a No. Now, it turns out STX Sports does have a relationship with Awan Sports in Pakistan, and these kids make soccer balls in Sialkot, that northern area, that northern drug area of Pakistan. So, we're going to look more into that. But in order to administrate this 123 agreement, the FBI gets involved in this. This was normally done, it wasn't done by a civilian agency before, it was done by the CIA. So David Petraeus works with Andrew McCabe and Mueller, Comey, McCabe, etc. That's why they're at the center of this thing that starts in 1999, which is going to be Uranium-1. Now, if you remember, it sailed through, Uranium-1 sailed through in 2010, but actually it goes back through the CFIUS process, but actually goes back all the way to 1999. And if the CFIUS, if you remember, is kind of intercepting. The first thing that this spy group does in 1999 is it starts intercepting these CFIUS investment proposals for people coming in investing in the United States. And what I'm saying is those get intercepted and get let out to other groups that will give us bribes and political favors. The next step in the two in the process is getting them an EB-5 visa, get them into the United States. 3 is to compromise them with either, give them the nice cars, show them the nice girls. Jeff will help with that. Jeff Epstein will help with that. And in the process, we'll film them in low-light cameras so that they'll always be compromised. So they'll basically become our agents for the rest of time. Now, I ask you, if Imran Awan didn't have state sponsorship, how would he be able to get away with 20 burglaries in Congress? How would he be able to have a secret server, be able to remove the hard drives and so forth? Just doesn't stand to reason that he would be just charged with one. Originally, he was just charged with one $123,000 bank fraud movement. Well, the reason is I went to this house and talked to Andrew Taggart and found these hard drives. And that kicked over another investigation, another FBI raid that occurred at this house. And I believe it's going to be the DHS OPM raid. And these are going to be the hard drives and Blackberries and also government laptops. I think it's going to be 4 and 20. And as I said before, I think it's still going to be 4 and 20. But whatever it is, We're going to find out. Again, if they didn't have state sponsorship, how would they get 5100 legal logins? How would they be able to get away with having government equipment? Might not just be government from the Congress, may also be CENTCOM, may also be State Department. How else would they have the hundreds of suspicious activity reports and transfers? How else would they have the 150 doped iPhones? All these things would get you put away in jail for quite a long time if you were just a regular guy. As I mentioned, hard drives are being made here. There's lots of physical evidence. I believe the toner is the cover to come in and out of these different government buildings. I think it's going to be 30 different government buildings, including the Federal Credit Union, Navy Federal Credit Union especially. There's going to be 3 sets of evidence from backpacks. 1, the inauguration burglaries. 2, the April 6th burglaries, or whatever we get that. And then finally, when Awan leaves on the 27th, I think there's also going to be backpacks with information. So we need all those from TSA, from the Capitol Police, and Fairfax County. We need to get all those, and I would like to probably do a motion to compel for those right now, if somebody has any advice on that. Again, we've done a lot of due diligence about what we're looking for, so the discovery is going to be precision. Here's Quasi Mensa, for instance. We're going to want to see his personnel records. And then there's a lot of cases we can't seem to find currently right now. I don't know how these would get expunged if you didn't have friends in high places. This case right here is for unlawful imprisonment. How many people do you know that have gotten away with unlawful imprisonment without any kind of sentence at all? So there's the case number there. Here's the beating, an unlawful imprisonment over at the Springfield Road Drive, the 6324 Thomas address. Again, you see here that the incident number has been blacked out. You'd have to have friends at Fairfax County. I'm not saying Freitag, low light cameras, but you'd have to have somebody that you knew like Freitag. The beatings, we have the beatings at Lachine, the beatings over here at Manitoba. I'm not saying that this is the place where the girls are being held against their will and this is the gang clubhouse, but boy, it sure looks like it. Then, of course, we have Tegawa out there with the car parts in eastern Maryland. Here is the case number there. We need to see these cases to see actually who filed these cases and so forth. If they're expunged, it shows that you've got friends in high places. Again, with the different civil suits, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 civil suits here. Again, how do you get away with this? How do these get expunged if you don't have friends in high places? You'll notice an R&H trucking here. Very much like an R&L trucking. You see an R&H motor cars. A lot of time, if you're going to do an illegal trucking operation, you'll steal the cars, and those become the cars. Then when you gradually start making money, you buy trucks, you get bigger trucks, you get rid of the cars. So that's kind of a way of bootstrapping yourself in the trucking business. And then, of course, then we'll start with the interrogatories and start asking questions. Anthony, do you know Imran? Imran, do you know Anthony? Huma, do you know Imran? Etc. That's coming. And then, of course, these cases here, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 Abid Awan cases. We like to see those against all these banks. Okay, these are credit. And then, of course, all these hospitals. Alexandria Hospital, Innova Hospital. And then this Dulles Green case here, which is the false imprisonment. Okay, also need to see the credit union report from Kalen. And we need to also see the detail amount of transfers from the suspicious activity reports. And again, we need to start looking into this STX and Awan Sports and these shipments by Awan Sports and soccer balls into the United States, and see if STX is picking them up. If Mark Lambert of STX Sports Transport Logistics is picking these soccer balls up from Awan Sports, I say that there's a connection between Imran and Awan. Again, his dad owns and controls, or did control, this contested area up in the Kashmir area, and Sialkot was where the rice farm was. Remember, we have bills of lading of Imran taking basmati rice orders in Baltimore. Baltimore is where Johns Hopkins is, by the testimony of the defendants. That's where they said he went to school. That's where Mark Lambert, and that's where the trucking company is, near the NSA in Fort Meade. So everything's kind of a concentration out there. The distillery is out there in Frederick, Maryland. There's lots of stuff going on, and trucking going to Bethesda near the Walter Reed Army Navy Hospital. A lot of stuff's coming from the nuclear facilities and the enriched uranium facilities from Paducah to Bethesda. Is that medical isotopes? We don't know. We just need to look more into this stuff. We have kind of a smoking gun. But here, is what I'm talking about. The 24,000 boxes looks an awful lot like a rat line being shut down and car parts being sent to another country. You can see all these shipments by the Awan brothers here in the last time while they were waiting to do trial. And then the car companies and so forth. We have lots of documentary evidence that we need to look into.